You're listening to the Lou Stokes podcast. Real and inspiring conversations with individuals from all over the world, sharing their insights on sustainability, fashion, conscious consumerism, and empowerment. Be inspired to take action and be the change you want to see in the world.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Lou Stokes podcast. I'm super excited to have the wonderful Bruna Rigato on with me today. Bruna is a fashion cultural specialist based in Milan. Welcome, Bruna. How are you?
Hi, Lou. I'm fine. And you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Could you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, a bit of your background?
Okay. I have multitasking background. So I started as a print designer in Brazil because actually I'm Brazilian, and I worked in the fashion industry there, working as a print designer and textile designer. And then I came 9 years ago to Milan, and I studied fashion business. And then I worked in this field here in the luxury industry, in Moncler, Gucci, and then I shifted to fashion culture, and now I have my own project, Fashion for Future, which I will explain you a bit later, and also I collaborate with archives, with fashion heritage companies and institutions.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you. So, I mean, obviously you've had a rich journey in fashion, from printing textiles to project management, and now you're more into the culture and heritage side of that. What inspired this transition, Bruna?
So it was a gradual and an organic shift.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved from Brazil to Italy, I had one idea of working in the luxury industry, working in the business, more like in merchandising areas and more organization field in the fashion, not so creative. But I was so impressed how deeply Italian fashion brands they value their fashion heritage, and they invest in promoting, in showing their fashion heritage. This really impressed me. And when I work in Gucci, the one of the parts that I enjoyed the most was the training that I should give to the store team about the special projects they made to measure. That was not only about product, but also was about the storytelling of the product. So this was the first spark, let's say. And then when I was trying to mix this creative part with all this strategic part, because I had these two words, I found fashion culture. When I met my business partner from Fashion for Future, she's an academic, a professor, and she was already doing research about identities, fashion culture, and not only in Europe but also in Brazil. So she also did this bridge, and so over there I found what fashion heritage is and how to value it and how brands and institutions are doing. So I went back to study to university, and I did a master in project management for the cultural industry. It was not about fashion, but was culture in general. And this opened my mind, and then I could put all these things together of my knowledge and background and passions as well.
Yeah, no, amazing. I love it. I think it's really important that brands talk about their heritage and their past and where they come from, right? Because often a lot of people don't know, and they just see a brand logo like Gucci, for example, which obviously is a very popular luxury brand, but often people don't realize what is like truly underneath and behind that name, and not just the name, but also the garments, the people that made them, how they made them,
Sure.
what they were made by. What role do you believe heritage plays in sustaining the identity of luxury fashion houses today?
So I think the fashion heritage it's important for many reasons, but one, because of the authenticity that can give to a garment.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly nowadays that we are in this fast, we have these fast cycles, and not only in fashion but also in fashion. So it gives these authenticities, and why this garment it's important for a community, for a customer. So I think this is one point. And also to it's attached with what I'm saying, but it's also to give a deeply knowledge about what fashion is. That fashion is not just a product that we consume and we throw out, and we don't you don't use
Yes.
anymore. We use one time. People need to give this emotional attachment.
Yeah.
So when you have a garment that you are emotional attached, you care much more about it. So I think this is a key point to sustainability, to last much more a garment. So I think this is fashion heritage gives this storytelling, but it's all about culture and identity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the value, not just like the monetary value of it, but the, like you said, the emotional attachment, but the emotional value and the hands that have touched that garment, where it's come from, because you don't get that with fast fashion, obviously, because it's just mass production.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, even I think to myself a lot about consumerism of fast fashion, and I think, yeah, of course, people don't really have an attachment to these items that they're buying. One, because it's easy and cheap to buy. They know that if it wears out or it gets a hole in or they get bored of it, they'll just discard it. So it's like it's just kind of like comes in and comes, it's like very, well, like throwaway culture, of course. And so I feel like when it's more luxury, you have this sense of attachment to the way it feels on your body, the
Yeah.
touch, like the fabric, even the pattern of the fabric as well, if it's like a pattern garment. And then this, I don't know, I feel like luxury kind of seduces us in a way to make us feel different emotions that give us actually, or create more emotional attachment to a garment. Whether it be a second hand, for example, Gucci belt or Gucci dress or whatever it is, or a brand new one. But I just, like, for me, I think it's really important to educate people on connecting to this background, to this heritage, to how it was made, who it was made by.
You were saying about luxury and luxury brands that give us this idea of heritage. But since I'm in this project, Fashion for Future, which I bring people, students mainly from Latin America, which are my connections, to the made in Italy local places and ateliers and labs that are or producing for big brands, or they have their own brand, which is not well known.
Yeah.
The prices are much cheaper, of course, than the famous luxury brands, but it gave me an idea, and I was questioning myself about what is luxury. Because even the big luxury brands that have a storytelling, and that of course they are so powerful that their storytelling arrive to all over the world.
Yeah.
But these small local brands which have craftsmanship and which make something really unique. And I was after knowing this place, I was questioning myself, what is luxury? Because
Right.
of course this is luxury. And sometimes when I bring some students to this place, that are students that are more passionate about the luxury brands, the big brands, they struggle to understand or to desire that product, even if they are handmade, and but
Yeah.
they don't have the logo, the luxury logo, let's say. So I would I see three different fields in the in the fashion brands,
Mhm.
which are of course fast fashion and big luxury brands, but there is this niche that if they grow up, if they become a big luxury brand, they will lose it.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
bigger, it's difficult, but it made me think about also about it, about the heritage of these small places, that they are really struggling nowadays
Mm.
to survive, because the big luxury brands are, um, how can I say, are
Yeah. So overpowering. Yeah,
yeah.
because they have, like you said, they have like more, let's say, more commercial luxury brands in a way, the well-known ones like Chanel, Gucci, Saint Laurent. They have so much power, and such big voices and big audiences. And just like Zara, for example, more fast fashion brands, they also have big power and big voices and platforms and audiences. And so, of course, for the smaller, more localized brands that are, doing incredibly, making incredibly beautiful things, and also, like you said, the heritage behind them, they just get drowned by these others. And because of, obviously things like social media are great, but again, trying to find your space in that as well is really hard when there's such, a saturated market. But I think it's great that people like you can actually educate people on, on what is luxury really. Like, is it any Saint Laurent belt, or is it a belt from an artisan in a small village in Italy or wherever, that's like made by hand? Maybe it doesn't cost as much, but it's just as valuable. And the story behind it, maybe his father, he inherited the work, the workmanship from his family. So that also has a lot of, for me, that's like, I love buying things from smaller brands. I have some friends in Spain that have their own shoe brand.
Yeah, in
And
Spain, the shoe
yeah, yeah,
industry,
it's big,
craftsmanship,
yeah.
it's good.
And for me, it's like just they're they're just two women who came together and have designed incredible shoes, and they work with local factories. They make small productions, and they're stunning. They're the most incredible shoes I've ever had, and I have quite a few pairs. But the fact that I know where they come from, they're designed by them, the story behind how they met and how they ended up, creating this, and the factories that they work with, that to me has so much more value than going to a store and buying, maybe a pair of shoes from Gucci. And I'm not knocking that, but
Mhm,
like you said, what is luxury?
mhm. Yes, yes, yes. It's a personal question, because maybe for maybe, I know many people in fashion that also luxuries. It's all the big brands, and sometimes for me as well.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
desire it's one thing that don't exclude doesn't exclude
No,
another, but it's important to be aware about these small realities that they are luxury as a big brand that is luxury, and maybe they have three times uh, cheaper
yeah,
a price three times cheaper. So
yeah, yeah,
so it's a good
absolutely.
way for people who maybe listen and say, "Oh, but I cannot consume luxury." But actually, if you search, you can find your own luxury.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like like you said, your own luxury, your own individuality. Like, what is a luxury to you? What does it mean? Um, you said before that you worked in education as well, fashion education. Um, in your opinion, what do you think the key gaps are in how fashion heritage and culture are currently being taught? Like, is this something that's widely taught in fashion courses and schools?
So I think it's growing a lot, the studies about fashion heritage and fashion studies. Before was not so, we didn't have so many courses or specializations about it. Now I see in the last 5 years, I would say, even when I was searching for my master's, was maybe some things in UK, because in UK you see that they are pioneering fashion exhibitions in all these
Yeah.
fields. But I think the problem is that fashion was is still not so considered for so many museums and cultural structures as something that is important to show as in an exhibition
Right.
or be maintained in an archive, because it's so ephemeral now
Yeah.
compared to art or to other. So I think it's improving. I see much more courses and even much more exhibitions in fashion, because it attracts a large public, and they need the public. So I think it's a need, but in but I see that brands also they are the brands that didn't have archives or were not preserving their archives. Now they are more worried about it, because
Mhm.
um, because they see that is a value for them.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as we were saying, like it can differentiate them for the other competitors and other brands. But there are a lot of work to do, because it's not easy to find someone that is specialized in conserving and preserving the garments. You have this field in the art field, but not so much, not in the fashion. So there
Right.
is a gap, because so many professionals are like me that you have a different back. You have a background that is not exactly like a linear, vertical background.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
have, so of course there are people that knew from the beginning that they would study that, but it's a niche, because in so many universities they don't even talk about this kind of
Mhm.
professional. So it's, I would say it's kind of new,
Yeah.
as a professional in fashion, or you come from art or you come from fashion design.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just going back a moment to craftsmanship, and do you feel like this is being lost in the mass production? So in this phase of mass production, also digitalization, how do you see keeping craftsmanship and traditional skills relevant, like in the face of this mass production and digitalization that we're living?
So I don't think we should see craftsmanship as a competitor as
Mhm.
the mass market. They're two different things. Products. Craftsmanship is a niche. It's
Right.
impossible to serve the whole world with just craftsmanship.
Absolutely.
So I think craftsmanship, it can it can help as mindset. So the craftsmanship can be a mindset of quality, of creativity, of innovation for the mass market. So I see this in Made in Italy in some brands that they are mass market, but they have the craftsmanship to make their prototypes or to do a detail, and this you can insert a bit the craftsmanship in the mass market. And then the craftsmanship to survive shouldn't compete with the mass market, should have their own niche and people who appreciate, who understand, who pay what worth.
Mhm.
Otherwise the craftsmanship will have low prices. We won't survive. It's impossible. It's not sustainable when we compare both words, because I think we need to think about a market that can live with both words, that has
Yeah.
space um, for both products. And then the brands, also the brands who make craftsmanship, they should value these and find this kind of customer, this kind of store or place, marketplace to sell or to find, in order to be sustainable, to teach new generations,
Right.
to find the ways to make it survive. So I see some luxury brands increasing their price point, and I think it's good, because if this is used to maybe have an internal program of passing the techniques and the craftsmanship to improve their quality, because I see that maybe 10 years ago the luxury brands were trying to make mass market products
Mhm.
and to have a lower price, and I don't think this is the way. I think craftsmanship can be can be kept alive by being another kind of product and another kind of market.
Right, absolutely. And do you see consumers shifting? Like when you say you take people to like workshops or labs, whatever, and often people they haven't seen or heard of these kind of more local brands or even really thought about what is the traditional made in Italy look like. Um, do you see there's a shift in their mindset about what luxury is to them or what craftsmanship is?
I think so. I think when you experience a workshop and see how it's done, it changes your mindset. You
Mhm.
will think twice before buying or producing something. And also, I think it can educate when you have a directly contact with craftsmanship. It can educate what a quality product is, and
Right,
this is
yeah.
really important for sustainability in fashion, is to educate a consumer about quality. And even when you look to a mass market product, you will look different, you choose different. So I think, yes, I think it's important to educate, and I try a bit in my environment, let's say. But I think, and as you do with your podcast, I think we need to do so many initiatives in order to educate consumers, because when you just see one kind of product, you think that there is the
That's it.
standard. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I see this difference between bridging between Brazil and in Italy. That
Mhm.
an average consumer in Italy, they are much more educated about what a quality product is. Maybe he doesn't he will buy in a mass market brand, but he looks the material, he
Right.
choose in some details that maybe the average Brazilian consumer won't look, because maybe this person never saw a quality product in front of her.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Or touch.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it often has a lot to do with the touch and also the knowledge, like you said. So, looking ahead, Bruna, what kind of impact do you hope your work will have on the fashion industry and future generations?
Okay, so I think one is this one that we are
Right.
talking about, because it's a slow pace work, no, education
Mm,
and having this contact with students, with maybe just fashion passionate. Some students are just passionate about fashion, so information. I think it's my way of trying to change something, to change a bit, and also to reach in people in different ways, not just because I know it's not possible for everyone to come and see these workshops.
mhm.
There is a time availability, money, and so many variables. So I think by the digital world we can show so many things,
Right, yeah.
to show what a brand is, an archive, what a designer that so many generations didn't know, such as Gianfranco Ferré. So my main collaboration is with sorry, I said in Italian, but
Okay.
it's
Oh, that's fine.
recent Gianfranco Ferré Research Center,
Mhm.
which is from Politecnico di Milano, here in Milan, and it's the design university, main design and engineering university in Italy. And they have the archive of Gianfranco Ferré, which was a huge designer in the 80s and the 90s. He was an architect, so he did so many innovations with material. He experimented a lot, and he had a really unique methodology of creating. And since his brand is not alive, so many fashion students don't know him
Right.
anymore. And his archive, it's a way of showing his work, but not showing just to celebrate, of course celebrate a big name, but
Yeah.
what he has to teach, because he was creating in a way that nobody creates in that way anymore, with so much care, and so smart,
Mhm.
uh, and with craftsmanship. So it's so important to show the new generations how these designers they were creating, and show another way, because we
Mhm.
know all the universities and programs, they do in a way, mostly to, of course, for the fashion industry as it is today, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
also need innovation. And I think looking to the past, looking to these designers, we can find a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the research center, they develop so many ways to through technology to share this knowledge. So I was working in the project with Google Arts and Culture, in doing some online exhibitions about the archive. So we went deep in the archive in order to show the cultural aspects of his creations, but also many other initiatives the center does to reach other publics, not only the ones that go there physically. So
Right.
I think this is one of my challenges,
Mm.
is to be involved in more of this kind of programs, which are not only physical but also how to show people who cannot come to Italy what is the made in Italy, what is the heritage from the brands. And I think one challenge are the copyrights, no? Because if you put online, how do you control? How would be reuse? So it's tricky, but I wanted to go deep in this matter.
Mm. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And Bruna, last question. How do you envision the future of fashion? you know, what with like sustainability and more laws and regulations, and like, you know, people are becoming more aware of how we're, you know, damaging the planet, also using materials that are potentially harmful to our own health as well. And people realizing that they have all this stuff and they don't, you know, wear half of it. So where do you see the fashion industry going, or where would you like to see it?
They are two
They're
different
different, yeah.
questions, because
Extreme.
what I would like, it's difficult, because we know that it goes slower than we think, that than what we want. But I see, as, the future of fashion is, it's if we can have multiple suppliers, multiple small realities. I don't know if you
Yeah.
mean what I'm saying,
Yes. Yeah.
because I think there is no one solution,
Yeah.
one
No. No.
saving solution. It should be small solutions that together it brings sustainability, because everything that we make as a mass market, if we do cotton as a mass market, if you do everything that you do as a mass market, is not sustainable.
No.
So
Yeah.
I think we need to value more and more the small realities, and to bring together all the small solutions. So this is my wish and my view for the sustainability in fashion, and also about technology,
Yeah.
that we need I think the future will be, bringing together what is the old way of doing things, as the craftsmanship, as how fashion was much more slow or everything, but also with technology,
Yeah.
and the technology is helping a lot. All the innovations, such as in traceability, and in new materials, in new ways of recycling. All this process matters, and I see this as a big. I see a big difference. I go every year to Premiere Vision in
Yeah.
Paris, where there are all the suppliers, and since 2019, and I see how it changed, how we have new solutions.
Mm.
So you need to invest money, and also the legislation pushes a lot.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
This kind of, you need to do a new solution, otherwise you won't survive.
Mm.
So it's tricky, but I think we already changed it a lot, but we have so much more
Yeah.
to do it. So
Mm. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, it's moving forward, but there's still a lot of work to do. Absolutely. But like you said, I love it that you kind of like working on small parts of the industry, and if everyone does their bit
mm,
and becomes a part of the change, you know, I think we can, you know, really move towards a much more healthier fashion industry in general.
yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, Bruna, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I've loved our conversation. Please, could you tell our guests where they can find you online?
Yes, sure. In LinkedIn as Bruna Rigato, you can follow me there. I do once a week, more or less, posting, and also to keep in touch if it's someone from the industry, I would love. And then I have my Instagram from my main project, which is Fashion for Future. It's fashion.for.future. It's in Portuguese, actually, because our main public is Brazilian, but nowadays in Instagram you can translate,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of fashion information, fashion heritage, sustainability, and so many other questions that I have in my head I put there.
Amazing.
So I hope you can follow me there. And thank you for this opportunity, and congratulations for the podcast and all this information that you were given to the fashion industry and consumers.
Thank you so much, Bruna. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you, Lou. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please subscribe to the Lou Stokes podcast. Rate and review in the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're tuning in from. I'd be so grateful. Also, check out the show notes to learn more about my guests and learn more about me on my website, www.loustokes.com. Until next time, be inspired, take action, and be the change you want to see in the world.